basically dropping 25 with just effort.
With effort, exactly. Yeah. Like basically exactly playing hard, and then we end up winning the championship in Team Hunk.
Ball players, what's going on? This your boy Arden here, coming live with another episode of the Ball Players podcast, where we speak to a who's who of people about their relationship with the game of basketball. And I'm very excited for today's episode because this brother across from me, man, I've had the chance to watch from afar, as well as up close, his passion from the game, bucket getter, defender, but his story's inspirational, man, coming from Harlem, USA, getting his education, doing what he's got to do, getting it up out the streets and playing pro. I rock with this dude. He rocks with us.
Sure.
Wauny. Jawaun Daniels, what's the word? Welcome to the podcast. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to be here. Grateful for the opportunity, man. It's been a long time coming, bro. I'm glad we could be here, though.
Facts. Sure. I got to say, real talk, bro, you're definitely one of the first people, I would say, from, the New York City hoops community that, embrace ball players.
Yeah, for sure.
Repost, follow, actually tapping in to see what's going on, and I've never forgot that. So I greatly appreciate your support, bro. For real, man.
You know that.
Thank you, man. And for us, Wauny, we love to start off the show with this question because, again, a big part of this show is exploring people's relationship with the game of basketball. So we like to take it all the way back, and we like to dig deep. So, Wauny, for you, what made you fall in love with basketball?
Honestly, I rocked with my coaches. My coaches early on was most of them haven't really played, professional at the highest levels, but all of them was I don't want to sound too cliche, but real, in a sense of wouldn't lie to me, would be honest with me, always telling me the truth about, my flaws, my attitude, and it wasn't always necessarily on the court stuff, you get what I'm saying? So once I got connected with my first coach was Mr. Keys. I knew his brother because his brother lived around the corner from me. So it was that type of connection. And then from there, Billy Bang, he's touched a lot of young players in the community of Harlem, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, everywhere around New York City. Everyone knows who Billy Bang is. And just with that connection, that's a connection for me, just knowing him outside of basketball, and then meeting Corey and Fred, and then going to T-Neck, and all of those was based off of relationships that I pretty much kind of already had.
Do you recall that first memory or period of time where you started realizing I love this game?
I want to say 5th grade because that was actually the first time that I actually played for an organized team. Mm-hmm. But I think it was that 7th grade summer going into 8th grade. I haven't played basketball probably in 2.5, 3 years of organized basketball. And that summer, Ms. Denise, who's actually another coach in the community, Ms. Denise, Ms. Denise, he's another coach in the community that's touched a whole bunch of basketball players in New York City from my age group, generations ahead of me, and she's still in the community doing her good deed today. She put me on with a tournament called Team Hunk. It's in the middle of Harlem, and it was sponsored by So Def Ludacris at the time.
Yeah,
and it was in the middle of Harlem, so everybody played in it from Isaiah Washington, Marquise Noel. You got everybody from the Harlem-based players that today that's become a professional at this time that played in it. And I actually have a twin brother. His name is Jawaun Daniels. So me and him, Ms. Denise, she put the team basically around us because we was 12, 13 years old, I think, but we was probably 5'10", 5'11". So at that age, that's a pretty good size.
Yeah, man. The good days, exactly. Man, when you was the tallest kid.
She basically built a team around us, and not knowing what could really lead up to it. We played a couple regular season games and playoffs come. I'm not even really thinking it's the championship. We made it all the way to the championship game. But that's when I realized, because people were actually at that age come out to come see my games, because I was actually I guess I was playing in a unique way that I didn't know was today actually a skill. I played with a high motor always as a young kid. So once I seen that, and I didn't really have a good skill set, but not to say it like that, but I was getting 25, 30, 22 without even dribbling the ball. I've always had the blessing of playing.
You was basically dropping 25 with just effort.
With effort, exactly. Yeah. Basically exactly playing hard, and then we ended up winning the championship in Team Hunk. And I never played middle school basketball, so that word got back to my middle school coach, and Team Hunk was basically that was big for me as far as realizing like, oh, like, you know, amongst my peers, the ones that's actually good, that gets the love that they get in basketball, I can be right there with them, like, you know, and I don't even have at that time, I knew I didn't have the skill set, but my confidence was through the roof, and I played hard, so that made me balance out with everybody else who actually had a better skill set than me.
And you took us down a rabbit hole here, too, that, like, I think us in New York City, we're super familiar with players like you and Isaiah and others who started getting that attention young.
Yeah.
But I think very rarely have you ever heard from y'all what it's like to be the center of attention. So, like, to somebody who wouldn't understand that, what is it like when you're playing and you could be 12 years old, 14, 16, 18, whatever, and you realizing or hearing, like, yo, people are popping out to, like, watch you play?
I think the best person to tell you that story, maybe Isaiah, because he actually...
shout out to Jelly Fam.
Being around
Isaiah.
Nah, for real, though, at that early age, like, the attention was crazy, like, and you don't really understand it. And then, but you live in it though, like you definitely enjoy it, and you pretty much build relationships off of it.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And like, it's up to I would say like the older people around you to kind of like mold you and tell you like what type of love is which and which type of, you know, love is genuine and not necessarily like, you know, people seeking to get something out of you from the long run.
Was it ever intense at times? During those stretches when you are trying to figure out that stuff, like what's real love, what's not?
Definitely, like my New York versus New York Dykeman stage. Like when I was a player this summer, I was like the first ever player this summer for New York versus New York. So that was definitely like my hardest stage because right after that, I went JUCO. Yeah. So that was, I feel like that was a blessing in disguise because I feel like if I would have went D1 and failed, it would have been more so of like, oh, he was doing all of that. And then, you know, actually went to college and it didn't work or it didn't pop off. So with me going JUCO, I feel like a lot of people forgot about me in a sense, like, because all my peers went D1. You know, Zay went to Minnesota, JQ Villanova. You know, Jaz, he was on the verge of scoring 3,000 points in his senior year in high school. So, like, everybody is doing Sid at UConn. Like, everybody amongst my peers, like, all my peers is doing, you know, what they supposed to do. And I kind of just had, like, the great summer. Yeah. And I didn't want to, at that time, the summer hype was not getting to me, but it was kind of like, it was fun. It was intriguing because of the things that I was enduring in my past. So being able to come and have that summer and regain that attention back all in just one summer after, you know, it nearly being over for me, it was kind of like a surreal feeling. So I definitely kind of almost got lost in it. But once I went to junior college, I figured out like, that love is not really real. It's all for like, you know, hype and mentions and reposts and stuff like that. So you start to balance it out and you start having
perspective. I have a funny Isaiah Washington story because I remember when he was in high school, like getting put on his like 2016, 2017, and immediately becoming a fan. I remember I was such a big Isaiah Washington fan. I remember I'm from Westchester, 914, so I remember seeing the St. Ray's varsity basketball schedule, and I see like they had like a little preseason scrimmage against Scarsdale High School. I'm like, wait a minute, that's down the road from me. I'm like, I'm pulling up. So I remember I legit pulled up to what was like actually just a scrimmage. Like nobody was in attendance. It was like a closed practice. If you pull up, you pull up. And these dudes are just scrimmaging and just doing drills. But I was like, but that's Zato. Like that's Jelly Fam.
Yo, bro.
And I had the chance to see him that same season go against Stefanak. In Stefanak, sold out Friday night game.
Was Ari in them yet?
Might have been before Ari. It might have been before Ari. But I literally saw this dude, I kid you not, drop a 50-piece in Stefanak in front of a sold-out crowd. St. Ray's lost, but he dropped a 50-piece, and to see a man drop 50 off of threes and jellies.
Yeah, Catholic school. Catholic league, to me, like in New York City, like PSAL is tough. But that Catholic school league is tough, too. They got some underrated dogs in there. So I know, and them Catholic school years back then, stepping at Cardinal Hayes, St. Ray's, Bishop Lachlan, all of those are some wars. So I definitely know. Like, I know it was a crazy game. For him to have 50 and lose, like, that's the thing. Like, them years probably, when we went to high school, 2012 to 2016 probably, besides Catholic school, like, Rice days, you got to really go back and look at those teams. You got Bishop Lachlan, you got the Champagne brothers, and you got Marquise, you got Sid and Jelly Say Rays, you got Joe Toussaint at Cardinal Hayes.
Yeah.
Jalen Murray, Juju, he was still young, but he was at Cardinal Hayes. Who else?
Young Cole Anthony.
Cole
at
Malloy. Moses at Malloy.
Khalid Moore.
Keith Williams. Like you got some players that was in them Catholic leagues from 2012 to probably about 2017. That was some killers. So that's
so much competition. And I think, even just to bring it back to you, right, for you, when you think about your journey over the last few years, man, it's been one that's caught a lot of people's attention and great support, right? Like starting off loving the game, getting into it, end up going in a situation where you had to sit for a bit in Rikers, and then you got your second chance, and then you was able to go to school, get your bachelor's degree, have a successful collegiate career, and now you are where you are now, being a pro and being, honestly beloved by the New York City hoops community. For a youngin that is wanting to go into the game, that's growing up in New York, that is coming from your environment, what would be like your best piece of advice for them?
Listen to the people that's actually laced them up before. Listen to the people that, that cares, like that you actually feel like, because you're going to feel it, bro. You're going to feel that heart-to-heart connection, and you're going to feel, and then you're going to feel something that's like, nah, he just talking, he just loafing, or he kind of like, or you got people that will actually want to put you in a bad position, like want to bring you outside to put you in a bad position to, possibly like run into something like, you know what I'm saying, to get you in trouble. But my best advice would just like really be just locking in that gym. Like I'm 24 years old right now, and I could tell you the only thing that I do is literally go to the gym and spend time with my daughter, and I have and live a fun life, bro. Like I don't have fun outside, like where I'm outside. Like you're never gonna see me in clubs. You're never gonna see me like partying.
It's only at the games.
I can
confirm that.
You can tell because my energy at the games is different because that's my fun time. You get what I'm saying? When I'm at a basketball game in the summertime, like you know what I'm saying.
I can confirm.
Just stay locked in, bro. Like for real, it's really nothing out here, and especially with this day and this generation. Like I probably had better advice or more to say if it was more like. But it's really like simple, bro. Because like honestly, the way things is these days, man. Like if you lock yourself in the gym, you focus on family and who really matters. It's gonna take you to the next level, and you're gonna go exactly where you need to go. I'm telling you, like it's simple, bro. Like it's really. I
think
simple.
It's the best advice for you to give. I think at the end of the day, when you have something that you truly love and you see a future in it, you have to lock in.
You'll do anything to keep it.
And the truth is, it's like when you have something that you really care about, your lifestyle does become boring because it's just rinse and repeat, right? Yeah. You're in the lab, whatever your lab is, right? You're doing that. You got your family time, your time with your joint if you got one or whoever. But it's something that we enjoy because we understand that there's a bigger goal. And I have a couple more questions for you, Wauny. This next one I feel like is super important because I feel like it's been a path that's been like more positively highlighted in recent years in terms of like, hey, if you're in high school, it's okay to go to JUCO because you take advantage of JUCO. You could then go and get that bigger college opportunity, as well as I'm seeing more college guys take seriously what it means to play overseas. You're a prime example of that, successfully bodying competition in JUCO, going to Prairie View, bodying that, and now, again, you just finished your first season in the pros. For you, what was it about that path that enabled you to take it seriously that is now giving you the rewards that you deserve?
Practice. 5th grade, 4th grade practice was at 6 in the morning. I don't know how, but it was at 6 in the morning and everybody was showing up. So I guess over years I kind of created like a routine that even when I got off track, when I did get back on track, I was kind of already like I'm already seasoned to do things a certain type of way. So I might fall off or hit a bump, boom. But when it's time to get back on track, it's lit again. I already know what I need to do and what rules I need to follow, the self-discipline rules I need to follow in order to get to where I want to get. So when they got the JUCO, obviously I was coming off the New York versus New York, so I was kind of a little, airheaded a little bit, first player of the year. But I was demoted. Like, it was nothing like, I didn't know that was a skill, bro. So what kind of got me through it was, like I said, just knowing it was light at the tunnel, bro, and following the same regimen, 6 a.m. workouts. And I went to JUCO in Georgia my first year. Nice. So South, they train different out there. I'm still up at 6 a.m. I'm still doing my 2 workouts a day. I'm getting my shots up. And just knowing that, if I follow the blueprint of what my coaches, because I've always been coachable, listen to your coach, you're going to get to the next level. If you follow your game plan as far as working out, your workout schedule, you're going to get to the next level. And when my coach Rico Dawson always used to say, and his main thing used to be like, stay dialed in and be pure hearted. That was his only two quotes he used to always just tell us all year was stay dialed in and stay and be pure hearted.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to, and then anytime like in the beginning of the season when I was you know, having my little run-ins with, you know, with the coach and stuff like that, he used to be like, you're not pure-hearted, Wauny. You're not pure-hearted, Wauny. And I used to be like, bro, what is that? Like, I'm 17 years old, 18 years old. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, and he ended up explaining it to me, and then I end up, that kind of like helped me out with the love that I had for the game, because I'm like, damn, like, yeah, you stay dialed in and you stay locked into what you focused on, you're going to get what you want. And that all of those things kind of like pretty much helped me get through JUCO. And then once I got D1 and I was able to get my full seasons in, like, I knew what I was going to be able to do. Like, I knew, like, you know, all my coaches has definitely sprinkled significant amount of, you know, seasoning and help to get to, you know, be right here in front of you today, bro, for real, for real. So
Last question I got for you, Wauny. At the top of the show, I asked you what made you fall in love with the game. Last question is, what keeps you in love with the game?
the only way I'll stop playing basketball is if, you know, I lose an arm and a limb. What keep me going is just thinking about, like, all the ideas and all the plans that I got in life, which is try to make the world a better place, bro. Like, you know, help out homeless people, help out my family less fortunate. You know, my twin brother, you know, when he come home to have a better situation, like my daughter, you know, creating generational wealth, not only for my family, but, you know, getting in these rooms and sitting down with certain people to, you know, actually make a difference in my community.
Wauny,
Yo.
thank you for popping through.
My guy, appreciate
Appreciate you.
bro.
Fellas, ladies, gents, ball players, we'll make sure all of Wauny's info will be in the description below. Thank you, Brody, for tuning in. Thank you for joining us again.
Make sure y'all tap in, man.
Absolutely,
for real.
man. Ball players, this is Art signing off here, man, from the crib. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Ball Players Podcast. We'll talk to you next time. Later.